Cowabunga, bunga, dude. Universes Beyond Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles drops this week, and thanks to our friends at Superscripts Comics and Games, we're cracking it a little bit early for their store stock. So, without further ado, I guess we just go for it, right? I mean, hopefully we hit some good turtles because we can get a turtle in every pack. So, get off me, plastic. Um, There's some pretty cool cards in this set. It's a pretty small set as well. Very much in theme with Spider-Man. I think we're around the same number of cards at like 195 or something like that. I'm sure future me will correct my number count here in post, because that's the magic of video editing. Um, so full box here. We're gonna crack these. Hopefully, we'll hit something good. In terms of what we want to hit, I think there's some pretty good sneak cards that everyone wants. The Sneak Demonic Tutor, Mono Black. I think that's going to be a top tier hit that we're looking for. First Null Group of Biological Assets. Guac and Marshmallow Pizza. That's one thing. The pizzas in this set have taken me by surprise because I know nothing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the combos that I have seen make me mildly nauseated. So we'll see. Everything Pizza, West Wind Avatar. We're in uncommons now. Go Ninja Go. Michelangelo Weirdness 211. Is this one? I think it's one of the comic versions there. Some pretty cool. Enters, create a mutagen token. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1 counters are put onto it instead, that's pretty nice. That's a built-in doubling season or something like that on a card for 2 mana, and it creates a mutagen token, which will also give a +1/+1 counter. And then you have Toka and Raz Terrible Twos. This spell can't be countered. Great, we love can't be countered spells. Menace. Whenever a player casts a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast it was less than its mana value, Toka and Raz deal 3 damage to that player.
It's Razor.
Razor?
They're from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's Toka and Razor. I apologize. And what? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna do that a lot. I want you to know that.
I just weirdly know a lot about turtles.
I know nothing about turtles, so you're gonna hear a lot of mispronunciations over here. Frog Butler. Pain 101. Uneasy Alliance. This is pacifism 3.0 or like 8.0, however many pacifisms we've had at this point. Buzzbots. Mutant Chain Reaction. Ice Cream Kitty. Negate. Saved by the Shell. Old Hob Alley Cat Blues. You know what? I can get behind that one. That sounds like fun. Old Hob Alley Cat Blues. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/2 red mutant creature token. It gains haste until end of turn. Destroy it at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, so let's just get a 2/2. This will be great for the alliance strategy that's coming inside of this for sealed. 4 mana though is pretty expensive, so it'll probably be top end draft stuff. Ooh Spill. Leonardo Big Brother. This is also a card that's been popping up for draft players. It's a sneak for 1 mana. On top of it gets +1/+0 for each creature you control. So this could sneak in, tapped and attacking for, 4 damage, something like that for 1 mana. It's a pretty good card. It's going to see a decent amount of play. And then for a rare, we got Kitsune Dragon's Daughter. Vigilance. Whenever Kitsune enters or deals damage to a player, you may exchange control of 2 other target creatures controlled by different players. Oh, that's going to be terrible inside of Commander. Oh, I'm so excited for somebody to make me trade creatures with people. And then we got this for our foil. Here is our first multicolored land, and then more mutagen tokens. Crazy. Anchovy and banana pizza. That sounds horrible. Cowabunga, dude. I'm mildly happy they did make that a card. Cowabunga, dude. Crustacean Commando. High Flying Ace. Insectoid Exterminator. Primordial. I don't even know what that is. Foot Elites. Punk Frogs. Bespoke Bow. General Trag Heart of Stone. Okay. Raphael. Tough Turtle. Wait, why is there a random... Oh, is that the turtle slot? I guess it's going to be the turtle slot. This is like a common inside of... Or behind an uncommon. I guess that makes sense. Savanti Romeo times Exile. Trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Savanti Romero. Then you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of counters on this dude. Okay, so draw cards, lose life. Classic black theme. Pretty good. 5 mana. Okay. Torn Between Worlds is going to be the shiny, and then we're getting another TCRI building as our land. Fun. Stomp by the Foot, Mind Transfer Protocol, Guardian Stone, Mouser Attack. I remember Mousers from a kid. I haven't interacted with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since watching a couple of the shows as a kid, and those Mousers seemed pretty cool. Squirrelinoids. Is that steroids for squirrels? Concerned about that one. Mouser Mark III. Another track. Wow, that one looks weird. The printing looks weird. Hold up. Is it just me or am I crazy? Is there a difference there? Is there? This one looks duller. I don't know. Anyway, second one. Splinter. Sneak attack. Other ninjas get +1/+1. Oh, I'm sorry, +1/+1. This is going to be probably pretty potentially annoying in standard as Menace, and then other ninjas go +1/+1 on top of Kaido, and then other ninjas. I'm fairly sure we're going to see some sort of ninja deck coming into standard. Feather Brained Flincher. Donatello Turtle Techie. That is definitely the turtle slot because it's weird seeing that common there. Sally Pride Lioness Leader for a rare. When Sally Pride enters, create X 2/2 red mutant creature tokens, where X is the number of non-creatures you control. Whenever Sally Pride attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Wow. That's pretty solid for 5 mana. Oh, okay. I like that card. 5 mana, 2/4. And then just gets bigger every swing. Cool. Little Orphan Amphibian for our shiny. Put our rare over here. Have yet to see a mythic now that we're thinking about it. No mythics yet. Unfortunate. Unless I'm crazy. Yeah, no mythics. I guess I could have technically put it in the wrong pile. That is a possibility. Zog. Tunnel Rats. Is that the new? No, it's not the new rat that everyone's talking about. Return to the Sewers. Action News Crew. Bot Bashing Time. Foot Elites again. Punk Frogs again. Death in the Family. That's a little sad looking at that art right there. SL target creature with mana 3 or less though. Skateboard. Genghis Frog. This is also a talked about card for sealed. So keep an eye out for this whenever we do sealed stuff. Uncommon 2 mana 1/3. Whenever a frog or another mutant you control enters, create a mutant token. Very much up inside of the Simic strategies, right? Ooh, we got a fancy turtle. Bad Apple Big Sister. I don't know if this is from a comic or something like that, but that looks pretty cool. Created 2/2 red mutant creature token, plane cycling, 5 mana. Okay. Splinter Technique. This is the Search Your Library. You could sneak for 2 at instant speed. Shuffle or search your library for a card and put that card into your library. Great for recasting spells and stuff like that. 2 mana, 2, forcing at instant speed. It's going to be a highly sought after card, if I had to guess. So yeah, that's a pretty good card. I'm going to say if what Tutor sits at about $50 or something like that, I'm going to say that one's going to land at like 25, maybe 30. If I had to guess, because technically it is worse. Well, it might be slightly better. I don't remember if that one's at instant speed or sorcery speed off the top of my head. Sorcery speed, it would be on par, but you could do it at instant speed to save a creature, which is also pretty good. So let's see. I think about $30 is where that thing will land, unless you print them like crazy. Then definitely not $30. Zoo, Nobody, Dimension. We're gonna speed this up a little bit. Fugitive Droid, Shredder's Armor, Donatello Turtle Techie again, and then Transdimensional Bovine. Okay. 3 mana, add 2 mana of any one color for 0/4. That's pretty decent. I'll probably see that in some sort of commander deck tech. 2 mana is pretty good for 3 mana constantly at a 0/4, so it's not bad. It could be a decent blocker, especially because it's flying. Yeah, I mean, toss that in any mono or dual colored. I think you'll rock it. Buzzbots, more pacifism, Zog, mutant chain reaction, tunnel rats, zoo escapees, EPF point squad, West Wind avatar, go ninja go, or dimensional exile. Wait, is this pacifism? Did I mix them up? Hold up. Uneasy alliance. Can attack or block. When this aura enters, exile target creature and opponent controls until this guy leaves. Yeah, I guess there's two. There's a bit of both. There's a pacifism, which is going to be the one that I was right, and then there's just a straight up exile. So that's cool. Raphael, most attitude. Raphael's technique, sneak 3. Each player may discard their hand and draw 7 cards. That's a lot of cards, especially with how discard's going currently inside of standard. This also might see a little small tech play going on, so kind of excited for that. Especially the fact that right now there's a solid class that's coming for discard as well. Cowabunga again, Crustacean Commando, High Flying Ace, Insectoid Examinator, Primordial Paradigm, Putrid Pals, Nobody, Foot Ninjas, Tainted Treats. That's also going to be a pretty decent removal spell. In Sealed, Wraith, Filet, Man Ray, Michelangelo, Game Master. Michelangelo's technique again. Wait, no, that was not Raphael's technique. There's a lot of techniques. 4 mana, Sneak. Look at the top 8 cards of your library. Put up to 2 creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay. That's pretty good. 4 mana. Sneak. Top 8, 6. Yeah. It's a little expensive. I wouldn't expect to see play outside of Commander. I think it was definitely a straight up Commander card. Action News Crew again. Sewer, Spot Bashing, Tenderize, good removal spell for green and Sealed. Future Pals, Mutant Town Musicians, Fugitive Droid. This is also going to be pretty good. This creature can't be blocked if an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn. So definitely going to be used with sneak style things. Shredder's Armor, Donatello's Turtle Techie. It's like the 8th one of these that we've seen. Cool but rude. This is the card that I was talking about. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Pay 2 whenever you discard a card. This class deals 2 damage to each opponent. So it's definitely gonna. But this might swap up slots with Artist Talent inside of Standard, because this gives you far more direct damage. Especially combo that with Monument. You're doing 5 a discard potentially, and then pay another 2. When this class becomes level 3, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and shuffle, then discard a card at random. So on top of that, you get to search for something inside of your deck that might change the tide of the game for 2 mana. That's pretty decent. Splinter Radical Rat. That's actually pretty cool. I think that's comic book art. Correct me if I'm wrong. If an ability of a ninja creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Target ninja can't be blocked this turn. Again, this will also probably help with Esper ninjas with Kaido and all the ninjas that we're seeing. I'm sure that deck will appear at some point. Okay. Sewer Valence Cam, Mouser, Eastwind, Frog Butler, Pain 101, Ice Kitty, Mutant, Turtle Lair. That's actually a new land for the set. Generic. Add 1 mana of color to spend on ninjas or turtles. Pay 3. Target ninja or turtle can't be blocked this turn. It's probably going to be, that might be a 1-of in the ninja in standard. That's a maybe. Because if you're running a bunch of ninjas, then you don't really care about this. Comes in untapped, 2+3 can sneak in damage to potentially force a sneak or some sort of removal. That's a maybe. It's probably going to be like a 1-of, if anything. Janika's technique, I think. Sneak deals 2 damage to each creature. Okay. It's a nice little blanket removal. That's cool. I like the R2. April, Reporter of the Weird. Whenever April deals combat damage to a player, draw them many cards and discard a card. Solid. Bad Apple, Big Sister. We saw that one already. Leonardo's technique. I think we're the third of the techniques that we've looked at so far. I don't know how many there are. I'm assuming 1 for each turtle, and then you have the Splinter Tutor. So I think we have 1 more to see, maybe. Return 1 or 2 target creature cards with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield for a sneak 2. That's pretty good. There's a lot of good cards out there for 3 mana, so there you go. Pretty good sneaks. Again, yet to see a mythic. Hold up. Yet to see a mythic. Yeah. We're mythicless so far. That's crazy. Not a single one. I think we've had more mispronunciations than mythics. Grounded for Life. Purple Dragon Punks. Stomped, Raptor, Stance, Mark III, Omni Cheese Pizza. This is another ninja card that I'm expecting to be used in standard potentially. 4 mana sneak. Deals combat damage to a player. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If her sneak cost was paid, instead return it to the battlefield for 4 mana, 3/3. I think that's a pretty decent return on investment there, especially because you could sneak out something that's like 9 mana, like Valgavoth or something. So there's some decent potential there for like 1Z, 2Z type thing. I wouldn't expect it to be like a 4-of in a deck or anything like that, but it might be a nice little sneak recursion. Mona Lisa Science Geek. Also, I want to preference. I don't think the ninja is going to be like top tier. I think it's going to be like B tier, C tier standard deck. Mona Lisa Science Geek. Add X mana for any 1 color, where X is this person's power. Cool. Leader in blue, and then Dawn and Wrath Hard Science for the rare. Whenever Dawn and Wrath attack, the next non-creature spell you cast this turn has affinity for artifacts. Sweet. Pretty straightforward. And then we have Kitsune again for the shiny. Ooh. These names are a lot. Get out of here. Foundry, Avatar, Frog, Pain, Negate, Splinter, again, Feather. Oh, first mythic, there we go. I think that's... No, I thought that was the, whatchamacallit, turtle location, but it's a dinosaur soldier. Whenever this creature attacks, dinosaurs you control other than this creature get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn. Whenever this creature enters, create X/2/2 white dinosaur soldier creature tokens. Another generic X mana white spell for our first mythic, so not bad. Mikey and Leo, Chaos and Order. Whenever you put a counter on this creature you control, draw a card. Only triggers once a turn. Decent. We like drawing cards. We're getting a lot of these. I've seen like 7 of the cards we've gone through. Is it just calling its name? Tenderize, Mutation, Revenge, some more Pizza, Stockman, Mechanized Ninja, Omni Cheese Pizza, Turtle Layer again, the newer Trinos, Raphael's Tough Turtle for the Turtle slot, I believe, Crag and Shredder. Krang and Shredder? Krang? Crag? Whenever Krang and Shredder enter or attack, each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. Disappear at the beginning of your end step. If a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, you may cast a card exiled with them without paying its mana cost. 6/7 for 6. Okay, that's fun. Whenever it enters or attacks, each opponent exiles from the top of the card of their library until they exile non-land. So you just get to stash a bunch of cards away and then use them in the future. And it's for so cheap too. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, you may cast a card exiled with this without paying its mana cost. So you're telling me I get rid of a food and you just get to toss out a 6 mana spell? That'll probably be a commander. Probably gonna see quite a few commander decks around that one, if I had to guess. If I was a betting man. 6 mana though is still pretty expensive. Manhole Missile. Cowabunga, dude. Going fast. Pizza Face, Gastromancer, Wingnut Bat on the Bell Fry. The tongue twisters are real inside the set. Does Machines. For our second class that we're seeing inside of this set so far. When this class enters, mill 2 cards, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. That's a lot of 2 cards right there. When this class becomes level 2, return up to 2 target artifact cards from your graveyard to your hand. And then for 5 mana, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot creature in addition to its other types. Okay. That was a mouthful. Shredder's Revenge for the shiny. I like the classes so far. I think the best class is probably going to be Cool Dude, but I'm also kind of partial to Red, so we'll see. That's my personal take, right? We're going to go through the commons fast. I think we've seen most of them at this point. April again, Last Ronin, Casey Jones. Ooh, that's cool. Look at that. Little action. And then, ooh, we got another class, the black class. When this creature you control leaves, or whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay. Creatures you control gain +1/+0 and have a menace until end of turn. Okay. Creature cards in your graveyard have sneak 4. You may cast creature spells from your graveyard using sneak abilities. Yeah, that's a pretty decent recursion. To hop that on top of a Twilight card from Lorwyn, toss that up there. Pretty decent. Okay, I'm kind of more partial to Ninja Dean. Won't lie. In terms of which one's the best. I don't know. I like both. Big direct damage on top of recursion. It's hard for me to pick. I like both. I also like the fact that it's not like creature type specific. I think that's a big bonus for Ninja Dean. If it said just ninjas, I think that card would lose significant play value. Commons go away. Metalhead. Little Orphan Amphibian again. Lord Dreg. Insect Invader. And then Raphael the Night Watcher for the Turtle slot, it looks like. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. Sneak 1 and 2 red. Solid. Madam Null Power Broker. Whenever another creature you control enters, you may pay life equal to its power. If you do, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So a nice little buff. That's cool. Little buff action going on. Still only 1 mythic. Decent number of rares. I think we've definitely had more than 1 a pack on average. Rock Soldiers, Buzzbots. Again, skipping the commons. I'm sorry. Venus, Turtle Blimp, Michelangelo Game Master, Krang Mastermind, 8 mana legendary artifact creature. Has affinity for artifacts, so that makes it so much easier to cast. Enters if you have fewer than 4 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. +1/+0 for each other artifact you control. That's probably will force some sort of affinity for artifact situation. And then another Krang. That's cool. Oh, we're throwing the packs around now. Throwing them around. Commons go Sayonara. Bespoke Bow, Death from Above, Novel Nunchuck, Michelangelo Game Master, Agent Bishop Man in Black. Is this from The Matrix? Am I crazy? At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature, on each of up to 2 target creatures you control. That dude looks like the guy from Matrix. I'm sorry if that made somebody angry, but he does. And then commons go sideways really quick. Wow, my piles are terrible. My piles are terrible. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Oh god, hold on. Wait. Stop. Stack up. Stack up. Stack up. Okay, cool. Cool. Unleashed. Henchbots. Courier of combustibles? I don't know. Raphael Ninja Destroyer. I gave up on pronouncing that. Must be blocked if able. Whenever Raphael is dealt damage, that add that much red mana until end of your turn. You don't lose mana through its end phases. 4 mana, 4/4. Okay. Cool. Drills in time. Look at that. Oh, double mythic pack. Let's go. Skyrocketing our average. And a rare in the foil. Let's go. Another bovine. Turtles in time. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. Each player may shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library. Then each player who does draw 7 cards, exile Turtle in time. Okay, so just a mass scoop effect, essentially. It's nice that it gives everyone the chance to just draw a new 7. Especially if you're, like, you know, getting bad draws, the table's getting bad draws, and you want to get a little favor in. It's pretty good. Commons go over here. Nelvin Nunchuck, Man Ray, Donatello, Wave the Machines, and then look at that. We got the white talents for class. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had a counter on it, gain 2 life for 3 mana. And for 4 mana, whenever you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's not going to be problematic in life gain at all. Ugh. At all. Get out of the pack. Thank you. And scooch on out of here. Boom. Baxter. Mutant animals. And then Donatello, mutant mechanic. I've heard about this card. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 Rabbit creature. In addition to its other types, activate only as a sorcery. Whenever an artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, if it had a into the graveyard from the battle, if it had counters on it, put those counters on it to 1 target artifact or creature you control. Okay, switch those up. Bam. Rock soldiers going sideways. Get these commons out of here. Venus, another turtle blimp, another Stockman. Leonardo for the turtle card, and then Turtle Van for the rare, it looks like. Whenever this vehicle attacks, put +1/+1 counters on target creature that crewed this turn. Then, if that creature is a mutant, ninja, or turtle, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it, and it's only crew 1. Turtle Van might go crazy. Carrying the turtle around, you know? And scooch, scooch, scooch. Cool. Spicy oatmeal pizza. Oatmeal? How does that work? Lessons from life. Everything pizza. Raphael, Tough Turtle. Mikey and Don, party planners. War 2, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands and cast mutant ninjas or turtle spells from the top of your library. If you cast a creature spell this way, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter. That's not going to be problematic at all. That's probably going to be a pretty fun commander, honestly. War 2, 4/4, or 4 mana 3/3. You get top card advantage. On top of that, you can just cast things off the top of it with additional ramp. So +1/+1 counter synergy is already there. It's a solid commander. 4 mana is a little expensive, but the built-in protection alone kind of makes it worth it. Oh, Foot Ninjas. That's cool art. And then Tainted Treats, Hench, Unleashed. Oh, we're skipping cards. You saw absolutely nothing. Leonardo Big Brother, and then Dark Leo and Shredder. This is another card that I think is going to synergize very well with the Ninja deck in Standard. Sneak 2, attacking ninjas you control have Death Touch. Whenever this guy deals damage to a player, create a 1/1 black ninja creature token. Then, if you control 5 or more, that player loses half their life, rounded up. So, that's pretty decent. That's a pretty decent card, I think. I think that'll fuel the ninja deck. On top of that, it's a mythic, so we're doing good now. After that double mythic pack, I think that put us back on track for the box. Technique. Casey Jones, Jury Rig. New Generations Technique. Tough Turtle. We're pretty tough up in here. Another Leader's Talent. Then Fugitive Bots. Boom. Pretty decent box so far. Honestly. Pretty good. And then sideways with the commons. Dream Beavers. I've heard some good things about this for sealed too. Whenever this creature enters, each opponent loses life. You gain a life, scry 1/1 mana. Pretty good. That's a pretty good 1 mana drop. Hard one. Cheetah? I don't know how to say that. Mutant BFF. And then Casey Jones, Vigilante. Casey Jones enters, draw 3 cards at the beginning of your next upkeep. Discard 3 cards at random. Okay. That'll definitely probably fuel the discard synergies. Unless you just play out those 3 cards and you don't have the discard trigger. I guess there's another way to play around it. Just dump your hand or something like that. Mousers going bye-bye. We don't need those darn robots. Shredder's Technique. The Last Ronin's Technique. Donatello's Technique. There's so many techniques. And then Leonardo, Big Brother. For the turtle card. Mutagen Man Living Ooze for the rare. Activated abilities for artifact tokens you control cost 1 less to activate. When this man enters, create X mutagen tokens. Another X spell. So we got a white X spell and a green X spell, it looks like. 3 packs to go so far. So, hopefully we end on a strong note, shall we? Uncommon. Her comments over there. Mighty mutant animals. Connex, Michelangelo, Game Master, and then Slash Reptile Rampager. This is another highly talked about card. Dealing 2 damage to each opponent whenever another creature enters is pretty good, honestly. Plus, whenever he attacks, he makes 1. So, swinging a 7/5, dealing 2 damage to each opponent is fairly solid for 5 mana. Definitely going to be played. I would never expect anything less from Commander players. Honestly, if somebody figured out a way to get that out in Standard, all the power to you. 5 mana is pretty top end in Standard right now. Unless you cheat it out somehow. Which I'm sure there's a way that I'm not thinking of. Beavers again, hard one. Game Master again. Future Shark, rare. That's a new one. Flash, when it enters, destroy up to 3 target creatures. 8 mana, 9/6. Flash. That's crazy. Okay. That's a big thing to be flying in at flash speed or instant speed. Honestly, I can imagine someone just flashing that out in sealed or something like that and just ruining someone's day. The person that would happen to would be me, just for clarification. New Generations Technique, Shredder's Unrelenting, Turtle Techie, Rhythm the Wild. I think this is a bonus sheet card. Look at that. Creatures, spells you control can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. Look at that. Bonus sheet card, finally. The first one of the box. And I think that is a Mythic. Goes over there. Raph and Mikey, Troublemakers. Rare. Whenever Raph and Mikey attack, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card and put that card onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. 7 mana, 7/7 trample haste. That's good. Yeah, whenever it attacks. So yeah, just 7 mana flinging out and hit somebody in the face with that thing. Pretty decent. With that being said, that's the end of the box. It's a pretty good card. I have no complaints. I think we got a decent amount of mythics. Where we're at 6 for the box. I think that's pretty on curve for play boosters right now, if I remember my math correctly. But in all honesty, I think a lot of the magic is kind of in the rare slots right now for this set. So, well, we didn't hit a lot of please. Well, we didn't hit a lot of mythics. I think a lot of the good stuff is probably in rares, which is kind of the upward trend inside of a lot of sets right now, that the rare cards are kind of seeing the most value. So yeah, pretty good. No complaints here. And if there's anything you see that you want to get your hands on, head down in the description down below. This is all going to be up on the Superscripts Comics and Games store. And we'll ship whenever the set fully releases. So head down there, pick them up. And if you like, be sure to hit like, follow, subscribe, the whole kit and caboodle of call to action. You guys have a good night. I'm going to get ready and we're going to film a pre-release video now. So if you haven't seen that or want to see that, be sure to head over to the channel and check that out too. Without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one.